Welcome to Midcard Maniacs. I'm Jay.
And I'm John.
And today we're doing our tier list for the AEW women's roster.
Yep.
So before we get into things, I do want to say that we've added Diamante and Ivelisse because they're very important to AEW. They've been doing a great job, and they're not officially signed, and I'm pissed about it.
Give it time.
I know. And there's no Kylan King on here, which should be signed. And we also would love Danny Jordan, and there's a ton of people, Red Velvet. There's so many people that need to be signed that aren't signed, but the only two that aren't signed are Ivelisse and Diamante because they are the women's tournament champions, so it makes sense to have them on this list. The only person that is excluded, and simply because of the technical getting a picture of and putting them on this tier list thing, is Serena Deeb, who was recently signed. We'll talk about it. Let's get into the list.
All right. So, do we start with who do we want to start with?
We should start with somebody that is S tier, I think. And that's tricky to just think of who is S tier. Hikaru Shida.
Yep. I mean, she's a champ.
She's the champ, and she is fantastic. Every single match she's put on has been a banger, no botches. She's booked correctly, and I absolutely love her. Mm-hmm. So there's no reason she shouldn't be S tier.
Yep, and I completely agree with you on that one.
Do
we go to a D tier now, and then we just work our way into the middle?
Okay, D tier is Leva Bates.
Oh,
very easy.
I know. It's only because she doesn't wrestle.
I know. She's so good. I absolutely love her to death. She was the first bio I did on the channel. I'm like, I fucking love Leva Bates. But unfortunately, she doesn't wrestle. She doesn't do anything.
It's a waste of talent.
Absolutely. She does the random Hurricanrana with the Initiative. And now that Initiative's broken up, she's with Avalon again. And I just don't get what they're doing with her.
Yeah, I don't know if she is choosing not to wrestle or what it is, but she's super talented. She really should be in the ring competing.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go back to the start. Diamante. This is interesting.
Yeah.
Because I like her. I think she's fantastic. I don't think that she is... I think she is one of the best in AEW, but it's hard to say specifically that, she should have a title at the moment.
I would put her at B just because it's right in the middle, and she could dominate everyone else below her and still hold her own if she did have a title chance.
Yes. It's not to discredit her abilities. That's the hardest thing about these things is we don't think you're bad. No. We think you're all great wrestlers. That's why you're on AEW.
Yeah, even Leva Bates. You may be D, but
we love you.
Yeah, you're great.
Ivelisse, I'm gonna go C, only because I think she's great, but I don't think she's on the same tier as Diamante, simply because she's botched. Or it's not that she's botched a lot. She gets stiff in the ring. She puts on great matches, but they can get awkward, and I think C is suitable.
Yeah, and again, out of people who I can see dominating Dark versus Dynamite, she's definitely there.
Yeah, it's tough. Abaddon, the monster, the living dead girl.
It's between B and A for me.
I think so. So the only reason I think that she would be A tier is simply based on merchandising. Mm-hmm. I don't think she's used enough to be A tier. I think she's B. I think she's great, and she's going to be very dominant, especially when they find an actual role for her. But I don't think that she's there yet. Yes, she makes a massive impact. If you go on Twitter and you see anytime she wrestles, she's fucking trending, dude.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think giving her a proper feud, giving her a chance to showcase more on Dynamite, she would easily jump into that A, but probably best suited for B right now.
And I would love to see Abaddon versus Diamante. Give me that right now, because so far all we've seen is Abaddon So her debut was against Shida. She lost to that, obviously. But the fact that that was her debut is great. Mm-hmm. But Abaddon has just been eating the souls of the dark talent. Like Kenzie Page, Skylar Moore, she's eating them all.
That's why she's the like B seems to be like the top of like you're not too good for dark, but you're definitely like the main eventer of dark.
Absolutely, yes. So we've got Allie. So Allie, the bunny, previously the bunny, she's finally wrestling, which is great. I liked her as the bunny more with Butcher and Blade. Now she is part of the Nightmare Sisters with Brandy Rhodes. Allie is a fantastic performer, but I think she's kind of awkward. I think she's C tier, personally.
And it's tough too because because like again, we're gonna get into Brandy, and when you look at that women's tag team like tournament that they had, you have right now we have the winners of that, one in B and one in C. So like she could be B because she definitely. I felt that she led the team more than Brandy. No offense to Brandy.
I don't think so. But
No?
I think she would agree with you for sure. She'd be like, I did all the work. I don't know. I think she's good, and I really like her, but I don't see her in B, to be honest.
If she was still with Butcher and Blade.
If she was with Butcher and Blade,
She would be D because she's doing nothing.
right? She would be a valet.
She would be with Leva Bates. I'm good with C. I think you're right. C's probably.
It's tough. It's so tough because I like Allie. Allie's so fantastic. I loved her in Impact with Rosemary. I think Demon Bunny is very cool. I just don't think she's being used enough yet. Anna Jay. This is interesting because she is very fresh. She's a very new wrestler. She's great. She's number 99 in the Dark Order. She is the Queen Slayer. Now going against Brandy Rhodes consistently. I love that. I love that aspect.
I think it's gonna be good, and like storyline wise, how she's being used, she's there. So I would definitely put her B.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because like she's gonna be good for just your storyline feud on Dynamite.
It makes sense, and she doesn't need a lot of. She doesn't even need matches on Dynamite. As much as like, of course, I want more women's matches on Dynamite, but she doesn't necessarily need that, and she's great at being like a very MJF-ish heel, where MJF doesn't need to necessarily have a match, but he can come out, do a promo, or do a thing, and people will love it. Anna Jay is very similar. She's a great natural heel, and she just can come out, fuck up Brandy for a bit, and jog on, I guess.
Yeah.
Big Swole, I want to give an A.
I would definitely.
She's fucking awesome.
I would also agree with her being an A because we need some strong contenders to go for the title. We need ones who are really, really good characters, really good wrestlers, and for her, definitely. If she got thrown in the title picture, I'd believe it. And if I look at anyone below her, I think she could
dominate. If you saw them in a match, you'd be like, oh yeah, Abaddon versus Big Swole's winning. Yep. But it's those times when they don't. That's when you jump into the next tier. It's like when Abaddon does take down Big Swole, Abaddon becomes A tier. That's all it takes, Yep. Brandy Rhodes. Whew. I know. Cody's gonna watch this video and be like, what are you doing to my girl?
He's like, you guys.
That's not official here. That's not an official B. I'm still holding it down.
He's holding it up to the A's, and
I think that Brandy I like, but I think she's C tier, to be honest.
I definitely think she's C tier. Thankfully, she's kind of changed her gimmick a bit. Yeah, because she started off really rough.
Yeah, with the Nightmare Collective, it was a little iffy, little iffy to say the least. But I think it's better now, and she is performing well. But there's always something in me that's like, yeah, she's good, but do I care? And that's the same thing with her Nightmare sister in Allie. I'm gonna put this here because it looks like they're best buds.
Yep. Now, a shot of Brandy though.
Shot of Brandy's pretty fun.
S tier.
S tier, absolutely. Especially the one with Tony Khan. If you saw that one, that was just fantastic. And Moxley, because he's weird. Britt Baker, obviously
A.
A tier.
Yep. I wouldn't put her S yet because she's got room to grow. She's finally come into her own.
And yeah, and can I just say that her transformation from like face, who was going to be the face of AEW, to absolute heel was the best transformation in so long in all wrestling. Like, she did exactly what I hoped that she would do. We made a video right when we started the channel of like what needs to change in the AEW women's roster and the division itself. And Britt Baker going heel was one of the things. Yeah. And she finally did it, and it's been fucking awesome.
Yep. And it's good because now you're looking at it, you got Big Swole and her side by side.
And they're beefing right now.
Yeah, we've seen them wrestle, we've seen them feud, and whoever ends up winning whoever would end up winning it or losing it, I could still see either one of them jumping into that S tier and going for the title.
Yes, absolutely. Chris Statlander. This is a toughie because she hasn't been wrestling. She is out with an injury. She had I think it was an ACL injury.
Yeah.
So she's had surgery now, which absolutely sucks because I love her. Yep. She was the best. And when they signed her, I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, she came in with Big Swole, and at the time, this is when I was just getting into indies. And I'm like, oh, Chris Statlander, she's really cool. And then a couple weeks later, she ends up on AEW, and then they sign her. I'm like, this is the coolest thing in the world.
Yep, she's got a good gimmick. She delivers in her matches. I think, injury aside, I could see her regularly on Dynamite. I would put her in the B.
I would...
But,
Yes, I think if she was non-injured, she would be A, to be honest. But she hasn't been there to develop more stories to make it more consistent.
Because she was almost entering that title picture. She
had a match lined up with Riho, and then she just couldn't do it because of another previous booking. There's just been a lot of things that have kept her from the top. I'm certain that she would have taken the title.
Yeah. I'm
gonna go B. I think B makes sense for now.
Mm-hmm.
She is deserving of A. She's deserving of S because she's such a great wrestler
with a great gimmick. She's getting it over. That's what's key
for sure. Mel, unfortunately, you are D. And I don't know what's happening with her. Sorry. You don't see my right clicks. That's great.
Yeah. But we do.
We're like, whoa.
Oh, no.
So, with Mel, it's weird. So, she's had a really shitty start to AEW in, an entire year. So, obviously, we talked about the Nightmare Collective. That's where she came. She was, she shaved her head for that. And she's done nothing. She did start something, once again, that got diminished. Oh, I forget what it was. Oh, I forget. But she was in another feud, and then it just stopped. It fizzled out.
And that's the problem. She's very not memorable. If you had to if you said to someone list the AEW women's division, I could see her being left off because people may forget about her.
I think the problem is I like her because she's one of the big powerhouses, but she's not used yet. She's not they're keeping her right now on the roster because she's this big force. She has a very she has I think 15 years in the ring. She's very experienced, but what everybody sees on AEW, that's not the case. Because all we've seen is I think she fought Kylan King, which was kind of cool because it was two bigger people. But is Kylan King going to take that position as a bigger threat? I think so, because Mel isn't currently being used correctly.
And I think right now when we're placing people, when it comes to who we're seeing in the ring regularly, where they're involved, I think D is the best spot for her.
Mm-hmm. Nyla Rose. I'm going to go... She has been a champion.
Yep.
But her consistency is not
I wouldn't put her S tier. I think
I'm gonna go A tier.
I would say A. Like, yes, she's been a champion. She has put on some good storyline matches, but she's not at that S tier. She's not perfect, to say the least, in like all of her matches.
I agree. Unfortunately, like the main thing that that really frustrated me was the Sadie Gibbs botch. It's like everybody was like, "Hey, Sadie Gibbs botched this move when she did like a flip over the ropes," but it was because Nyla wasn't there to catch her. That kind of thing. I really like Nyla, and I'm happy that she's been champ. I think she had a shit run as champ, unfortunately.
Yeah, like it just wasn't good. But I kind of like what she was doing with like Vicky Guerrero getting.
Yeah, the vicious vixens, the vicious vixens. I think it's getting better, and there's a feud brewing with Kylan King and Nyla Rose, which I think is great because we have the powerhouse in Nyla Rose, and we have the giant that is like the Mel-esque Kylan King. I'm very excited for that. Kylan King should be signed, and I would put her B tier. She's great.
Just to get her started, yeah. But yeah, Nyla, A. She can, if she got the title back, yep, that's it. I agree, and she could easily like, not destroy, but she could definitely win in all the matches with the people below her.
Absolutely. Penelope Ford. Okay.
Let's hear this one.
I love her. I think she's great. I don't think that. I think this one's tough.
It's nothing against her wrestling or anything like that. I think she's S just because of where she's kind of placed on the card right now.
You think she's S?
Yeah, I don't think she's B yet.
You're saying S?
Oh,
you mean
C. C, yeah, C.
You fucking shit. God. I'm like,
whoa.
What do you mean?
No,
you're gonna
C.
put
Yeah, she's S.
Nyla
yeah, no,
A?
she's C. She's C. Oh my God, yeah, definitely, she's C. She is just because of what she's done so far.
I agree, and that's frustrating to me because she's great. I absolutely love her.
Put her in the S then.
No.
C, yes.
I
C.
agree with Penelope Ford here, even though she does have a lot of matches and she does win. But like, I don't know what's happening. She's like, I don't know. She deserves to be C currently, but I would love to see. You know what's weird? Because if Penelope Ford watches this, she's gonna say, "You think Abaddon and Anna Jay are better than me? I've been wrestling for fucking 10 years. Anna Jay has been wrestling for 1 year. She has 12 matches or whatever the hell it is. And Penelope Ford's been on the indies for so long."
Like I said, it's nothing against her wrestling. It's
about booking and collectively. I think she does have the upper advantage of being with Kip Sabian because like she gets prominent TV time. I'm moving her to B. I don't care. I'm doing it.
Do it. Make her happy.
It makes sense because she gets more TV time despite her actually wrestling. Like, it's important. She is an important piece of AEW storylines.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would like to see Penelope Ford versus Anna Jay. I want to see
everyone on that list.
If you wouldn't know who would be an absolute winner.
Yeah.
If you were to do Penelope Ford versus Britt Baker, you know who's winning.
Yeah.
And so it's easy to see if you were to like take any of these people and put them up against like any of the people above them, you almost know who's going to be the surefire winner.
Yep.
Where if they're in the same line, you're like, nah. Penelope Ford versus Diamante, you have no idea who's winning that. And not a chance.
And Ford versus Brandy?
Well, just because of nepotism, I think that Brandy might win, but it's bullshit. Riho, I think, is A to S.
Yeah.
I like her, but I don't think, like, I love her as the first AEW champion. It's great. I don't think that, obviously, she's not being used currently, but I think I would put her at A.
I would put her at A as well, only because right now she's not used, and if she just came back AEW and went right title picture again, I would believe it. And anyone else in that A tier she was feuding with, I could see her taking the pinfall or winning.
Yeah, this would be like an interest, like any of these matches. Obviously, Nyla and Riho, we've seen that.
Yep.
But
Riho versus Britt Baker, I don't know who would come out on top.
Riho versus Big Swole, I also like. This is like a co-main event match here, you know. Shanna, who's coming back, so she's been in Portugal or potentially France. She's Portugal's best athlete or whatever, favorite athlete. She's one of my favorite athletes. I love her. She's not being used right now. I think she is one of the most talented on the AEW roster, 100%. And she has been used as such. However, not being
active.
She's never been in a storyline. I had to put her C tier. Because I don't know, like, will I believe her skills exceed the C tier?
But that's what I mean. When she does come, she's gonna start off on Dark and work her way up.
Yeah, probably.
And she'll have that dominant run on Dark, working her way to Dynamite, and then. But if she did jump into Dynamite and say faced Abaddon,
that would be interesting. Oh, but Abaddon just eats everybody, and I don't want her to be sacrificed. Save her soul. Yuka Sakazaki.
She's fun.
I love her. She's C tier though. Like
she's fun, but again,
like you're gonna put her in a battle royal. She's gonna do awesome. It's gonna be a great time. People are gonna pop. They're gonna love her entrance music, and that's about it. Like there's not a lot going on here. But she also isn't like bottom barrel. No. Sorry, Mel Sleeva. At least she would be used had the whole situation not been happening. When she was used to a great, like everybody loved her.
Yep.
Unfortunately, like Leva Bates has been in like what 1-2 matches total. Oh. Frustrating. Emi Sakura, a legend, an absolute veteran. Gato move. This is where like Riho has been training with like since she was a baby, basically. Emi is so good.
They had a really good match together too. Almost like
it's a while ago.
Yeah, it's a while ago, but I would put her B just because skill level and history,
B makes sense because yes, like I don't think that she belongs in A. Her skill level obviously probably exceeds everybody.
But what's nice about her in B is she's the person that everyone in B can beat to move up to A.
Right. She would definitely elevate a lot of people, and that's why she's probably on the roster still, because even though she can't be on AEW, the fact that like she is a veteran and she teaches and trains so well. Like if you know anyone that she trains over in Japan, she's fucking awesome. And if you've seen her fights if you watch her matches in Eve, they're primo. They're so good. There was a Gato move versus Ice Ribbon versus Eve. And those matches are fantastic. And you'll be blown away because I understand that a lot of people don't like Emi Sakura because of her queen entrance stuff. She kind of almost comes off as a Christopher Daniels, to be honest. She's like the Japanese Christopher Daniels. But she's better. Sorry, Chris. Sorry, Mr. Daniels. Didn't mean to say that. But she's absolutely like I say top tier, but we're putting her B.
Yeah.
She's definitely B tier.
Yeah.
Okay, and finally we have
This was gonna be tough.
Awesome Kong.
Because I know for a fact that if she wasn't out filming
Glow and stuff,
and doing all these things, I love her character. I love her wrestling matches. She always delivers. I want to put her in A, but
I think it's B.
I know, because it's just the same thing. She's a veteran. She's great at what she does, and she comes in tomorrow, wins the title. Could totally see it, but
I know it's tough. I love her in a higher tier, but at the same time, it's like this isn't an Impact tier maker.
yeah,
This is AEW.
yeah,
Awesome Kong. We're gonna give you B, and I think that is generous considering that she's not currently being used.
yeah. That's the big issue. Is like she's not being used, but we know exactly that if she walked into the ring tomorrow, we know
Her and Abaddon.
Yeah.
Give me that. Oh. I wouldn't even know. And if Abaddon... See, this is one of those situations where if you had Abaddon go after Awesome Kong and win, this projects Abaddon to the next level.
Yeah.
Because Abaddon, we know, is going to be super marketable. She's already had 3 shirts. And there's some other bigger people that have had 1. Abaddon is going to sell merchandise. She's going to draw fans. Throw her against Awesome Kong. Holy shit.
Yeah.
And Awesome Kong's fine with getting defeated by that.
Yeah,
By
she's
the,
good
by the monster.
helping people grow, helping the talent move forward. So, and when you look at this list, same idea. It's like a nice little pyramid almost.
Yeah, you can see who, if you saw a match between anybody here, who would beat who. This makes sense. And these are matches that you've seen before on both Dark and Dynamite. You can basically just look across the line yeah, okay, I've seen Penelope Ford and her. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think this is solid. I have no regrets. It's weird. I guess S tier is only for the upper echelon. And I think that maybe Riho and Nyla could be there. Mm-hmm. It's because Nyla hasn't had many matches is really throwing me off. She hasn't had many matches recently. Obviously, Riho hasn't had a lot of matches recently. So that's the only reason why they're A tier. Is they're unused currently. Mm-hmm. I think this is solid. Yep. What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Like this video, and if you want to make your own tier list, we'll share the link in the comments. And if it's your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel and stay up to date with everything Midcard Maniacs.